WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman proved his loyalty to Roman Reigns on the latest episode of Friday Night SmackDown. However, in return, he was taken out by the new Bloodline members, and now a 45-year-old former manager has teased replacing Heyman as the wise man of the stable. The manager in question is Armando Estrada. This week's Blues show, hosted in Madison Square Garden, saw a Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony segment. This was held following Jacob Fatu's debut in the company on the June 21st episode of SmackDown. The Samoan werewolf, Tonga Loa, and Tama Tonga acknowledged Solo Sikoa as the new leader of the Bloodline. However, Heyman denied to recognize the 31-year-old as the tribal chief. This resulted in a brutal attack on the special counsel by the Tongan brothers, Fatu, and the Street Champion. Since Paul Heyman was loaded into an ambulance, a fan on X, formerly Twitter, suggested that Armando Estrada could make his return to WWE after over a decade as the Bloodline's new wiseman. For those unaware, the 45-year-old veteran used to manage the late Anoa'i family member, Umaga, in World Wrestling Entertainment. Estrada added fuel to the fire with the following tweet. Wrestling veteran says Roman Reigns' WWE return is near after Paul Heyman was attacked. Former WWE manager Dutch Mantell opened up about the segment that featured Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu hitting Heyman with a triple powerbomb through the announcer's table. During an appearance on Sportskeeda Wrestling Smack Talk podcast, Mantell mentioned that WWE has set the stage for Roman Reigns' comeback after the Wiseman was laid out by the new Bloodline members. Well, that was good because they got something. Now he's taken a turn. Now, you can smell Roman Reigns on the horizon. When he swoops in, they're already doing record business. They're on fire. When Roman comes in, it would just continue, he said. At Money in the Bank 2024, the Bloodline will face Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes in a six-man tag team match. Whether or not a new member will be added to the Samoan faction at MITB remains to be seen. Title: The Veterans Return, a new chapter in the Bloodline saga. In the dimly lit backstage area of a sold-out WWE SmackDown arena, whispers echoed among crew members and wrestlers alike. Tonight was not just any night. It was a night where the unpredictable thrived and legends were made. The aftermath of a brutal match had left Paul Heyman incapacitated, his usual aura of control shattered by a vicious assault orchestrated by Roman Reigns' adversaries. As paramedics rushed to attend to Heyman, a figure emerged from the shadows, drawing curious glances from those nearby. The figure was none other than Adam Copeland, known to millions worldwide as Edge, a 45-year-old WWE veteran and a man whose career was etched in the annals of wrestling history. Edge had been away from the limelight for a while, recovering from a career-threatening injury, but tonight, he carried an air of determination and purpose that caught everyone off guard. As Edge strode through the corridors, the atmosphere seemed to shift. Wrestlers paused mid-conversation, acknowledging his presence with a mix of respect and curiosity. Edge wasn't just here to make up the numbers. He had a plan, a vendetta, and a deep-seated desire to leave his mark once again. The events leading up to this moment were a tangled web of alliances and betrayals within the WWE's infamous Bloodline faction. Roman Reigns, the current Universal Champion, had carved out a dominant reign with the aid of his advisor, Paul Heyman. Together, they had navigated every challenge thrown their way, until now. Edge's return wasn't just a coincidence. It was a calculated move, fueled by a desire for retribution against Roman Reigns, the man who had once claimed to be the tribal chief of the WWE. Their history was fraught with memorable battles and bitter rivalries, each encounter pushing both men to their limits. As Edge approached the locker room designated for the Bloodline, a mix of anticipation and apprehension filled the air. Inside, Roman Reigns and his cousin, Jey Uso, were engaged in a tense conversation about the night's events. Heyman's absence loomed large, a void that threatened to disrupt their carefully orchestrated plans. The door swung open, and Edge stepped into the room, his presence commanding attention. Roman and Jey turned to face him, their expressions a blend of surprise and guarded curiosity. Edge's gaze locked onto Roman, a silent challenge passing between them, laden with years of unresolved animosity. "I see the bloodline is missing its voice tonight," Edge remarked, his tone laced with a hint of mockery. Roman remained stoic, his posture betraying none of the unease that simmered beneath the surface. Jay shifted uncomfortably, sensing the tension mounting in the room. "You're a long way from where you belong, Edge," Roman finally spoke, his voice low and measured. "What do you want?" Edge smirked, a gesture that spoke volumes about his intentions. "I'm here to offer my services," he replied coolly. "It seems Paul Heyman is indisposed at the moment. Someone needs to step in and ensure the bloodline continues its dominance." Roman eyed him warily, weighing his words. Edge wasn't just offering assistance, he was hinting at something more significant, a shift in power, perhaps, or an opportunity to exploit the faction's vulnerabilities. Jay, ever loyal to his cousin, stepped forward. "You think you can just waltz in here and take over?" he challenged, his voice tinged with defiance. Edge regarded him with a mixture of amusement and disdain. "I'm not here to take over, Jay," Edge replied evenly. "I'm here to ensure that the bloodline doesn't falter in the face of adversity. Every dynasty needs a strong foundation, and right now, that foundation is shaking." Roman remained silent, his gaze never leaving Edge's. The veteran's words struck a chord, resonating with the underlying tensions that had threatened to unravel the bloodline from within. Heyman's absence had left a void that needed to be filled, and Edge sensed an opportunity to exploit the faction's vulnerabilities. "You need me," Edge continued, his voice cutting through the palpable tension in the room. "Whether you like it or not, Roman, I'm the insurance policy you never knew you needed." Roman's jaw clenched, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his features. Edge had always been a master strategist, capable of manipulating situations to his advantage. The prospect of aligning with him was both tempting and dangerous, a double-edged sword that could either solidify their dominance or lead to their downfall. After a moment of contemplation, Roman nodded curtly. "Fine," he conceded. "But make no mistake, Edge. This is still my show." Edge smirked again, a glint of satisfaction in his eyes. "Of course," he replied smoothly. "But every show needs a headliner, Roman. Let's make sure we give them a performance they'll never forget." And with that, the deal was struck. Edge had found his place in the bloodline, not as a subordinate, but as a formidable ally with his sights set on reclaiming his rightful place at the top of the WWE hierarchy. As the night wore on, whispers spread throughout the arena, heralding the dawn of a new chapter in the ongoing saga of the bloodline, a chapter written in blood, sweat, and the unyielding pursuit of supremacy.